In army as well, commitment was commitment. If you've said something, you don't go back, and that is how we've been taught as an army officer children. And that is something that I see as a miss here when we are into coaching or when we are into facilitation. I'm from an army background. I always very proudly want to tell everybody that I'm army officer's daughter. When I was young, I used to look at how they dress because army was known for the kitty parties. So I was very fascinated by how everybody's dressed. Delivered to boys. That's the time I left. I took a career break, and he comes and tells me that, Payal, don't do this. You are a person who likes to connect with people. There have been two pillars for me, both of them, Aditya Subroto and Subroto Mukherjee. And he told me, he says, I don't agree with these areas of development. I don't agree with the concept of coaching. Or everybody calls me a networking queen, filled with emotional intelligence because I have really worked hard on it. We never had a subject on our mindset, our emotions.
My name is Bharat Shetty. I am the founder of Innovator Learning and the host of Coachee Diaries podcast. And today it's a privilege that we have Payal with us. We would like to give you a little bit insight into her life, her journey, what are the challenges that she overcame, what are the lessons she learned, and most importantly, answering that big question: what is the will of life? Has Payal found her purpose? And if yes, how can all of us listening to her journey also do the same? So thank you so much for joining in, Payal. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm totally looking forward to this. Thank you.
Perfect. I obviously know that you are, working in the coaching federation, in the coaching industry. You are at a very high level in terms of the coaching ICF metrics. But do tell us a little bit about you. And how did you even start getting into coaching? What was the journey like? Where did it all begin?
Right. A lot of things together. So let me start first with a little journey that I have had, right? So I'm from an army background. I always very proudly want to tell everybody that I'm army officer's daughter, which has taught us many things. So to start with, shifting schools, shifting places, making new friends. So that has been something from the beginning that has been taught to my sister and me. We're just two sisters here. And my father has been very particular about discipline, adaptability. So when we talk about time management, so we are there 5 minutes earlier than the scheduled one, no matter where we are till now. So these are few things that have been ingrained from the beginning, and we follow it to the T. Now, coming from army background and having said that, we have a lot of postings where we meet a lot of people. So I've always admired people looking at everything. So I remember when I was young, I used to look at how they dress because army was known for the kitty parties. So I was very fascinated by how everybody's dressed, and from there, how everybody talks. Even when you were to have a dining area, so how would people put their spoons? So these were the things that I used to love learning and observing. So that is something that has carried forward till today. And from army background, I chose my first career, which was aviation.
Okay.
So I got a job in my second year, but my father, he was so particular. He said, "You're not going to get into a job till you finish your graduation."
Amazing.
So from Delhi, I did from Lady Shri Ram Delhi University. I finished BA in psychology. And the day I got my degree, that's the day my father told me, now you do what you want. So that is one thing that, I really hold really very close to my heart that he did let me, and he was very particular that I finish my graduation before I get into something else. And then my journey started with aviation, continuing from the army life where there were people. So aviation also people. Traveling was in army. That was also in aviation. Traveling, meeting people. Curiosity of knowing people, knowing culture. Uh, it just kept on increasing. So aviation taught me a lot of patience. I mean, there were crises that we had, emergencies that we had, and how do we remain calm during that time?
Great.
So a lot, yeah. So there's a lot of glamour, but people very seldom know that behind the glamour there's a lot of labor, there is a lot of emotional stress, and there's a lot of mental well-being that
Hmm.
we need to have as a flight attendant. Because everybody, I remember there was once we were flying somewhere and there was an emergency call, and we were flying from Delhi to Pune to Goa, and we had to land in Pune for emergency. And I was the senior most flight attendant, and there were about 200 passengers.
Hmm.
They all looking at me. So, at the end of the day, you're a human being.
Yes.
But when you know there were 220 people looking at you, how do you handle it? So that was a turning point where I knew that I have to show the brave front. And I remember I had about 7 crew,
Hmm.
and I had to go and just tell them that all will be well. Just remember, everybody is watching us.
Hmm.
So let's stay calm. Let's work under pressure. We were under pressure, but let's not have that face. And I was amazed to see all the seven. They were very young girls also.
Hmm.
How they composed themselves. So that is another learning that I had, that when people are looking at you for some guidance, and how you need to come forward, that is something that airlines taught me. Many incidents, but just to name few.
And this happened to be
And
one of
then
the incident where it was like, oh, you know what? I have to step in as a leader, and I think life obviously
yes,
gives us a lot of opportunity. But this is a very important moment, I feel, which helps us to pivot and
yeah.
be focused. Amazing. Please
And the best is when your pilot calls you inside the cockpit and says, Payal, there's going to be an emergency landing, prepare.
go. Hmm.
So then you need to prepare first yourself, and then you prepare the cabin, the people, because they all are looking at you.
Hmm.
So that is, yeah, many incidents, but this I recalled because this is something that I carry till today with my coaching journey, with my facilitation, and as a form of storytelling also. This has been very close to my heart. So, anyways, I flew for 10 years, and then I got married. So when I got married, I still worked in a very different domain, in a sales domain for some time as a coordinator with Star TV, their portal India.com. And I was side by side doing my facilitation on soft skills and image consultancy
Hmm.
with aviation. So that was a freelance. So when I delivered 2 boys, that's the time I left. I took a career break
Hmm.
because I needed to spend a lot of time with them. And my husband was mostly on travel, so I had to spend a lot of time with my boys. And and I didn't leave my facilitation, it was still on. My soft skills and my image consultancy, small workshops, I definitely took. And then there was a time when my boys suddenly grew up, and I
Hmm.
didn't know what to do. So then I met a gentleman, and I told him that I would be going ahead with soft skills as at a corporate level,
Okay.
and I need certification.
Hmm.
So he knows me very well, and he comes and tells me that, Payal, don't do this. You are a person who likes to connect with people, more deep.
Hmm.
You are the person who's always been curious about the unknown. So give your shot to coaching. Till then, I had no idea what coaching was. I
Okay.
had no idea CEO of coaching.
Hmm.
But luckily, I got introduced to many people in coaching, and they are mentors till now for me. So I went into the coaching journey. Operates, CEOs, HR, ASO, sub, everybody was there. And I was coming from aviation background and I thought probably this is not it.
Hmm.
So I met a gentleman, his name is Subroto Mukherjee.
Hmm.
He's ICFPCC. He's been my mentor for last 7 years now. And he told me, he says, Payal, I see something in you that you've not seen. And I stood always thinking, kya bol rahe ho? What are you saying? I don't want to
Hmm.
do. And he's the one who pushed me against my comfort zone. And he says, you are not going to give up. And from that date to this date, I have not given up on coaching.
Wow.
And I remember in our cohort, we had about 12 of us, 12 of 13. And out of the 13, only myself and another gentleman, we were the only two who continued. The
Wow.
others dropped out.
Hmm.
So I owe this journey, I think, to all my great mentors. So I've had two mentors in my life. One is Subroto Mukherjee and one is Aditya Subroto. So they have been like a pillar for me in my journey. through and through.
This is amazing. And I'm very happy that we are doing this today. Today is Guru Purnima. And just like you mentioned, you have people who are mentors, and a lot of people don't realize the role of mentors, of coaches. Somewhere I have also experienced, just like you said, that there was this one gentleman who saw the potential in me when I myself had no clue about it. And it's really
How
important that you,
beautiful.
yes, and I think it's really important that we need those people to be in our life, and also that we need to be that people to someone else.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. 100%. So when I look at my role models, I feel that, I should also be the role model for someone.
Yes.
And luckily I am, but obviously I have a lot to reach. So
Hmm.
yeah, I would say miles to reach for that as well.
This is beautiful, and all thanks to Subroto and Aditya for believing in you, showing you the path, and it's all because of them. I think that somewhere you have also been able to have that sort of impact on the life of people. Okay, here,
Absolutely. They have been two pillars for me, both of them, Aditya Sasodia and Subroto Mukherjee. So
amazing.
I completely owe my journey to them. There are times as a coach when you are literally struggling because you don't know what will happen tomorrow. And you don't know what about the continuous business.
Mm.
You don't know about BD. There are a lot of challenges that we face as coaches. But when you have mentors to guide you and to remain peaceful within yourself, you are almost there. It's an unexpected journey and the most beautiful journey that I've had.
Very true, very true. And I think, and I've told you about this over the phone call as well, that the more I start coaching someone, the more I keep learning. Hence, I go by the name Coaching Maryadas because I think, okay, maybe by profession I'm a coach, but I keep learning a lot. So, looking things from a different mindset, from a learner's mindset, has actually helped me. Here is a very important question. While you were growing up, you saw a lot of people, army, and then into the aviation. You observed, and that is a word that is still fresh in my mind, that you were observing and you were learning. What is one observation that you had, if that is okay to say? You saw something in army, in navy, which a lot of us common people may not have. One characteristic or one behavioral pattern.
I would say commitment. Stick by what you say. That is something I totally endorse. Stick by what you say. Understand your bandwidth and then take on.
Mm.
I remember in army as well, commitment was commitment. If you've said something, you don't go back. And that is how we've been taught as an army officer children. And that is something that I see as a miss here when we are into coaching or when we are into facilitation. We want to understand, and that is my motto. That commitment till you do not commit to yourself first and then to others. So
Mm.
what happens is that we are committing more to others
Mm.
than ourselves. So where I see a gap is more on self-awareness.
Mm. Beautiful.
Are you aware of yourself that you're going and helping the others? Do you have that bandwidth? That's the space I think I like to address it.
This is amazing and very profound for me as well because I had a similar experience, to be honest. I
Yeah.
realized that in order to help someone, I first need to help me. I need to learn a lot of things. So I didn't come from a sales background, I was mostly from a customer experience background. But when I had clients and I had to teach them sales, I had to literally learn about it. So watch a lot of YouTube videos, read books, go for sessions, learn from someone else, take notes, and then possibly practice. And I remember my early days of getting into learning and development, and as a trainer, it was not easy. In fact, I was a very shy person. My job profile required
Mhm.
me to be extrovert, but still think that I'm a very introvert person. I would love to just sit by myself, not really interact with a lot of people if given a chance. But job profile is different. And in that moment, I realized it's a very funny story that my first mentor, he told me that you have to start delivering training, and he had given me some content.
Mm.
So I had to
Mm.
practice. But the question was, whom do I practice with? because I wanted to see how the reaction would be. This is what happened. I read the entire PPT, prepared myself in front of the mirror, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to deliver. And I really wanted to see if people will actually sit through. None of my friends were willing to. None of them. And I say this now when I look back at it, it's a very funny thing, but there used to be a dog in our colony. I had to actually make the dog sit and deliver my first preparation training to the dog. And just to make sure that my audience doesn't just walk out in the middle of the presentation, I actually put it on a leash. Actually put it on a leash so that he stays there. Funny right now, back then it was crazy, but yeah, honestly, that's how I started preparing
But
as a
yeah,
trainer. For you also,
because we need to, yeah, we need to make these memories. We have to have something to laugh on. We
yes,
need to really build up on these memories, which I think people don't realize. These are memories to cherish. See, today you're cherishing it so much more. During that time, you would have been in a more of a turmoil, what to do and how to manage. But today you are having a great laugh.
yes,
Lovely.
I keep telling that to anyone who wants to get into training as well. But here's a question: when you got into the coaching industry, I know for a fact a lot of coaches they happen to face the imposter syndrome at a particular phase in their life, they are like, hey, you know what? Am I really fit for the role? Am I doing justice as a coach? Did something like that happen to you? Do you have second thoughts whether you should continue as a coach? What helped you? And for all the people who are possibly aspiring to be coaches or just started out as coaches, if they can learn something from your challenge, how you overcame it, and the lesson that you learned.
Person, I think we all as coaches, we have this one of those days, is this meant for me? Shall I continue? What shall I do? These are the things that even I went through. So, like I said, apart from having great mentors, I had to really invest time in myself, understanding what my niche is. Where do I want to be? Because when I started off with coaching, I thought I'll be a great health coach or a relationship coach and never an executive coach. That
Hmm.
was something that I never thought I can do and I would want to do.
Hmm.
Irony is, I'm nowhere close to relationship and health at all. I'm a hardcore executive and leadership coach.
Hmm.
So that happened when I pushed myself out of the comfort zone to take certain uh, sessions, which went a few sessions that I took up as a career transition coach. So
Hmm.
that is the step that I took first. Now, with career transitions, I needed to build up my hours. So
Hmm.
I joined an organization which could give me certain hours. So
Hmm.
with hours, I got career transition as a first break. And when I did career transition, I thought nothing can be, more challenging than handling career transition.
Hmm.
It got so close to me, and I still have those clients who are like 4 years old. They still are with me, and wherever they've gone, we've been in touch because career transition. When I interacted with people, not knowing what to do, and how how you come out of that zone and started fresh, how you don't blame yourself for what has happened. It is you're not blaming no one. You just want to now understand what is the plan. That is one thing that really got me into executive coaching.
Hmm.
Otherwise, probably I would have not been where I am because I was given a choice to take up relationship coaching, health coaching, but this came by default as the first option for me. I didn't go for it. It just came to me, so that they're looking for career transition. So one of my mentors said, you want to do? I said, okay, I want to build up my hours for PCC. I will do it. I did that for about 1.5 to 2 years. That changed my life. It made me think beyond, much beyond what we think. What we think today is our issue.
Hmm.
Career transition is a completely different ballgame.
Yes. Yes.
So I was in search when I was told, what do you want to do? Just sit down and first decide. So I closed all communications with everybody. I sat down with what are my strengths and my weaknesses. So with the weaknesses, I didn't play with the strength. I said, let me see how forward I can go.
Hmm.
So while I was doing my SWOT analysis of strength and weaknesses, I got this offer. And this offer, I would say, changed my life.
Hmm.
A person who was running away from corporate. Today I'm at the heart of the corporate. And from there was no turning back. I think, what works for us as coaches is what you deliver has to be 100%, not even 99%. That's the space I come from.
Wow.
And I remember I had got some project which is a pro bono as well with
Mm-hmm.
Ignite ICL. And so these were again multiple hours and passion for social impact. And where I was told that, would you do that? I said, I would do that if it's pro bono also, but I have to give 100%. And I got an award. I got two consecutive awards for that,
Wow.
for one of the best coaches. So I feel as a coach, we need to give 100% or we do not get into it.
Right. Right. And in my initial day of coaching, I remember when I just got into a coaching role. The first natural instinct was that, hey, you know what? Now I'm a coach, so I'm going to tell you what to do. It comes very naturally. I'm not sure if it happened to you, but it happened to me. I thought, I have such a rich
Mhm.
experience. I have, so much of knowledge about the subject at hand, and I should be the one telling people what they are doing right or wrong. And I thought I was put in charge as an authority. But very soon I realized, no, coaching is not about that. Coaching is just letting the coachee be, taking away any sort of mindset obstacle. Things that are, we all have potential to be our best version. And I realize as a coach, it is not my duty to tell someone what they should be doing. Rather, it is about just asking them questions like, what is stopping them from being their best?
Correct. But I recall another incident when I had a coachee and one of the corporates. So the stakeholder told me the areas of development. However, when the coachee came in and we had one on one, and he told me, he says, I don't agree with these areas of development. I don't agree with the concept of coaching. I said, fair enough, leave it. Let's discuss about life. Let's discuss about you. You listen to my journey. I listen to your journey. While he was speaking about his journey, automatically things were coming up, which he was also quite shocked. How are these things unfolding? Where are they unfolding from? Because when I kept that space, that let's not talk, I agree with what you're saying. I agree you don't want to go ahead. I agree, I'm on your side. I'm your partner here. Let's just talk about life. You won't believe how many things came up.
Amazing.
And there were things which were also aligning with the areas of development that we did 360. But apart from that, so many things came up. So there are times that you will get these kind of coaches where they do not align with 360, they do not align with the psychometric test, and they feel there's nothing wrong. Because idea is that coaching doesn't mean you're wrong. So
Correct.
awareness of coaching is very important while we are going to an organization, that we are coaching not because you're wrong. We are coaching because you're just rising and we are helping you to rise even further.
Yes. Yes.
So when you talk about obstacles and stopping, that comes into a negative thing. So a lot of people don't want to talk that language.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. I was told by someone, just rightly as you said, I was told by someone that the role of a coach is that of a catalyst. What a
Yeah.
person could achieve by themselves, maybe over a period of time, as a coach, to being a catalyst, to just help them to achieve the same results,
Mm,
but in a shorter duration of time.
right.
But I love
Absolutely.
things that you said. I love what you said because it helps me also to think about using the right terms, because then we don't want someone to say, maybe I don't have it, or there's something negative in me. Quite interesting. Has there ever something like this happened where, the inner child, right, that is something that needs to be taken care of, because all of us have grown up. It's a
Mm,
different personality, but somewhere it is, not healing from something that hurt us as a child, not having the right role models while growing up. Somewhere that leaves a deep impact. For example, in one of my previous organization, I had I would say, good friend, but he used to bully a lot of people, including me. He used to bully us. Uh,
mhm.
Initially, I used to take a lot of offense, but over a period of time, I started actually getting to know him, and I knew about his early childhood, things that happened with him as a child, and his family environment, and it made me more empathetic towards him, to understand where he's coming from. So I started seeing him for the person he is, And once I had that conversation with him, to heal the inner child, he changed as a person. He was not the same. Something that ever happened to you
With me or with the clients?
with the clients.
Yeah. Yeah, I recall, in fact, with very recent experience where my coachee was looking for external validation all the time.
Mm.
So, which she didn't realize till the coaching happened and the few questions that were cropped up. And then we realized the external validation. Then I did some assessments to understand, and it was absolutely external validation was the first point and the most important point. So, when we went into details, external validation, what does it mean? So, the client said, I am used to it that
Mm.
when I was a young child, my mother used to acknowledge me
Mm.
with a chocolate only when I would do something.
Mm.
So I would want to do something for that chocolate. Each time I would come back, I would get a chocolate. Then I would come back, I would get something. So for me, proving to others than being myself became a cycle, which is still now. And I have a burnout
Mm.
now because you're wearing somebody else's shoes. How long will you walk?
Mm.
She said, now, Payal, I'm in a burnout situation.
Mm.
So this related to her. Then there was another one who related to self-doubt because he was being picked up by his teachers many times for his communication skills. He says, today, even if I have to speak to 10 people, though he's absolutely excellent with IQ, he
Mm.
says, I can't speak because I have a self-doubt. Somebody might laugh on what I say. Somebody might laugh on my communication skills. So I asked him, what is communication skills to you? So very sweetly he answered, speaking right English, good words. I said, no, communication is what I understand, what you speak, what you
Correct.
understand, I speak. Isn't that simple?
Mm.
And it just ingrained in his mind. And he called me up a little while ago because he had a great presentation where he had to literally speak. He understood what it meant. But these are self doubts from child. So he had from college to school to college. She had from her parents throughout that if you do something, then only you'll get something.
Mm.
So, so these are the things that we do have. But the only advice that I want to really give is we should not anchor ourselves to that. That's not serving purpose, right? Very easily we say, okay, this is my childhood.
Mm.
That was a different era. There, I remember in our time, we used to watch only Chitrahar, if you remember what Chitrahar, I mean, you wouldn't
Yes,
remember, they
yes,
were like
I do.
songs,
I
yeah.
do.
Yeah,
I'm really old
all right.
in that sense.
Okay, so we were given just half an hour to watch Chitrahar. Right now, you can't take away the gadgets from our
Mm.
children,
You're
can we?
right.
We can't take away gadgets. We have tantrums, we
Mm.
have slamming doors, etc. This is household chores.
Mm.
Everybody's going through this. So I would say anchoring yourself to that era where we were not allowed to, we were just allowed TV less. We were allowed to go and play sports. Today nobody does that. We were allowed to do so many more things which we don't do now. So
Mm.
why are we comparing that? We need to get out of it.
Mm.
Agreed that you've had a childhood, which we all have had childhoods, and our parents at our age have definitely been more strict,
Mm. True.
right? For them, it was doctor, engineer, pilot, scientist. These were the
Mm.
only four options. Today, we have variety.
Mm.
Making career at the age of 50. It's
Mm.
not a joke. You know,
Right.
you have so many options.
Mm.
So that is something I would like to really say. Let's not anchor on what our parents did, what everybody did. It's totally different ball game. Today, when you have kids, it'll be totally different.
Mm.
So are we really changing with time? May not be.
Mm.
Are we in that comfort zone of anchoring? Maybe.
Mm.
But then where is it? Where are you heading? With that mindset of anchoring, where are you heading? Nowhere.
Profound. Right? And I think a lot of this thing happens to us without us realizing. Conditioning. Just as a parent, we want our kids to be doing their homework, so we give them a chocolate. We promise them if you score really high in your grades, we are going to get you a cycle. Small things. In some way, if I'm not sure if that's the right word, but somewhere for their mind, we're bribing them, putting that sort of thought or conditioning them, if that's a very right term to say. But that is what's happening. I have been conditioned to, and on my first episode with Ashley, I did mention that in fact, when my father passed away, I felt that I should not be crying because I was conditioned by people around me to say, "Hey, man up, you are a man, you should not be crying." I don't know why, but generally society says that man should not be crying, they should not be showing their uh, vulnerability. I think that is somewhere what I also had picked up. It was only at a later time, in fact, when I got into coaching, that I started doing deep work on myself. I said it's perfectly alright to be who you are. If you feel something,
Absolutely.
emote.
Absolutely.
Please.
You're human first, then you're a man.
Oh,
You're a
yes.
human being. Human beings have emotions. Where do these emotions go then?
Mm. Right.
And the
Here's the
more you
interesting.
pile up, you will get into mental fatigue, physical fatigue. No
Yes,
point.
yes. Here's an interesting question, Payal. Based on whatever we have spoken so far, I think somewhere what has happened is people tend to have that sort of conditioning labels, smart, dumb, slow. Teachers give you sometimes those labels. Parents will tell you, compare it with others. You get all of this thing, but this is all what we have been telling ourselves, our labels. I know so many people, when I am asking them who you are, the first thing they will say, "Hey, you know what, I'm a ops manager, I'm a director, I'm a founder," which is all good, but these are all labels. And so here is an interesting question: without the titles, without the labels, without all this tag, who is Payal Malhotra?
Right? Without the labels, without the official labels, right?
Yes,
That's
yes,
what you meant?
yes,
Okay. So, in my group, whether it's social group or my official group, I mean, just to add a little humor, everybody calls me a networking queen, you know. So wherever I go, whether it's an event which is official or any social, that's something that I carry as a networking queen, and I'm happily accepting it because that's the space of my happiness and where I interact, meet people. So for me, getting that, an unofficial name, and I'm very proudly I say that, yeah, because I love meeting people. For me, it's passion. I mean, today you won't believe I have a lot of friend circle, but I do not make friends with anybody who cannot have a two-way conversation. So for me, that is the most important thing. And Payat is a person I would feel is a person who's filled with emotional intelligence because I have really worked hard on it. And I really give it and share it with people how you need to build up on your emotional intelligence. That are the two spaces that I'm passionate about. Very strange. So I'll ask you one question, if I
yes,
may. May I
yes,
ask
yes,
you one question?
yes.
So, which has been your favorite subject?
While I was growing up, or right now,
Hmm. Growing
as
up
growing up,
in your schools,
uh,
colleges, yeah.
quite interesting. I think when I was growing up till my age standard, it was used to be math, and then
Huh?
it used to be enjoyable. But after my ninth standard, it did happen to be English.
Superb. And your wife?
She is into science, biology.
Huh? All right. So if somebody would ask me, I would say my favorite used to be psychology.
Mm.
So coming back to subjects, we've been taught so much,
Mm.
but we never had a subject on our mindset, our emotions. How do you
Oh,
deal
please.
with it?
Mm.
Right? And that is something even today a big doctor doesn't know. A scientist doesn't
Wow.
know how to handle his emotions. I just feel that why were we not taught this? And today in colleges, in schools, they've just started on it.
Mm.
In fact, this year's curriculum in my son's school, they've just introduced emotional balance करके, not even
Mm.
emotional intelligence. I feel that that has been such a miss for all of us. So today, very proudly, even if you are a mathematician, you cannot do. You see, it's like having an IQ versus EQ. IQ takes you further to
Yes.
get into an organization, but you proceed only when you have EI or EQ,
100%
right? If
agree.
your EQ is good. So where is that gap gone? That is something we were not taught. Even our children, my son is 22 years old, he's now working, he's not been taught. So
Mm.
when he comes and he tells me that these things are happening and they're making sense to me now, I feel so proud that these things are now into action, whether it's training, facilitation, coaching, because people need to first deal with their mind. So that is the space I come from. So when I said about emotional intelligence, so Payal is a person who's filled with emotional intelligence. I just feel that, I want to also let people know how important it is for us, for any relationship, and first the relationship itself. So today everybody's stepping out
Mm.
of relationships
Yeah, very
to
true.
have empathetic thing in culture, or team leader wants to be empathetic, leadership wants to be, but that's all right. Where are you? So where am I? I don't know. What do I do? I don't know. So
That's
that is a
interesting.
space that coaching helps, facilitation helps to understand. And fortunately, storytelling really helps
Mm.
more than theories, I realized. So we all have our experiences. Everybody wants to know my experience. I would want to know your experience and XYZ. So for me, I think storytelling works beautifully well when I'm into a coaching or a facilitation.
Amazing.
Because what true stories can have an impact, nothing else can.
Very
That's
true.
what I feel.
Very true. Very true. In fact, one of the reasons we started this entire podcast is to listen to stories, listen to our guests' journey, challenges, lessons, and ultimately help us also because there's so much life can teach us. That was the entire intent that we learn from people because I'm living that long to make so much of mistakes ourselves. But there are people who have walked that path, learn from them. Possibly through the podcast, the entire intention is that all the viewers also can learn something through this conversation. But while this has been absolutely, absolutely life changing for me, there's so many things I've been doing. In fact, I have got into this habit of penning down everything that I learned. But at least from this entire session, what I truly understood is one, you are the networking queen, and it all comes because one, you have that source of social skill, but it comes because of curiosity, because of observation. And what we're going to do is we'll have a lot of this conversation in the second part of our podcast. But it has been absolutely brilliant. Well, thank you so much for talking
Thank
to us.
you.